I don't have much else to say. I'm really trashing YA today. Everyone loves her. Why is everyone being so noisy? I feel like I just slagged off a bunch of books and I hate doing that. I always feel guilty. Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Kizzy and today I'm going to be doing an unhaul. So a few videos back I did a massive haul, which means it's time now to get rid of some books. I don't have as many as I thought I would. I have tried to be quite strict with what I want to get rid of. I've basically got any series that I don't think I'm going to continue, even if they're like a nice book. I'm getting rid of them. But there are still some series on my shelf that I've left there that I was debating whether or not I should give up. And I feel like if I'm debating it, I should just get rid of it. Like clearly it's not one that I want to keep forever. But I just couldn't quite get rid of them yet. So they're still on my shelf. But I've got over 20 books here. I don't know how many exactly. Let me count. 24 books we've got here. So that's quite a decent amount of books to get rid of. Seeing as I got rid of a lot in lockdown that we had, and then also I've only accumulated 50 this year, so I'm only 25 up then, technically. So let's get started. So actually the first one is one I bought. For some reason I was like, oh, I need to have this book. I was like, I need to have a lot of classics, or like not classics, they're not classics, but a lot of like contemporary, sorry the sun's going, contemporary books that people rave about. I need to just have them in my collection. So I bought this one, even though I didn't even read the blurb, don't have any interest in reading it. I don't know why I have it. It's The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. It's a YA. A lot of these books are YA contemporary and YA books in general, just because it's not a genre that I enjoy particularly reading much anymore. It's very rare that I find a YA book that I enjoy a lot. So I'm giving quite a lot of those up. But yeah, this is The Darkest Minds. It's a trilogy. It's a very popular trilogy. It is quite old. It was published in 2012. I thought it was older than that. So yes, I'm going to be giving this one up. The next one is one I got in, I think, an Illumina Crate box, and I just haven't read it, and I don't think I'm going to read it. But it's The Orphanage of Gods by Helena Kogan. It's a beautiful, like, I love the colour of the sprayed edges, don't get me wrong, they are gorgeous. And I think I was actually quite interested in reading it at the time I got it, but I was in first year of uni and I did no reading in the first year of uni, basically. So it does sound kind of good, but I just don't think there's just so many other books that I would prefer to read than this one. And it's so beautiful, I feel like it's wasted sitting on my shelf, and someone else would love this a lot more than I do. So I am going to be giving this away. The next is one I actually have read. I just will never reread it again, and I didn't love it enough to want to hold on to it. And that is The Henna Wars. And this is a female romance between two girls. I can't really remember that much actually. I read it in lockdown. I'm sure there's a reading vlog of me reading it, or a wrap up at least of me talking about this. And it was like a nice cute little romance, but it wasn't quite what I was after, and it just kind of missed the mark for me. But a lot of people really love this, so I feel like it will be enjoyed somewhere else a lot more. The next one is one I've had for a while. Again, I have read it, but I'm just never going to read any more of his books. No interest in rereading this book, so I'm not going to keep it. But that is The Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, which I know is a bit controversial. People love John Green. I was not a fan of his books. I read 3, I think, of his books when they were really like popular a few years ago. They were okay. Like, I don't know, they just never quite connected with me as they did seem to connect with the mass of people that loved it. But yeah, most people probably know what The Fault in Our Stars is. It's not even The Fault in Our Stars, it's Turtles All the Way Down. I think it's about a girl with OCD, and I don't know. I read this obviously when it came out, and before I think I did read it really quickly, but again, I have no interest in rereading it. 2017. I thought it was older than that again, but clearly not. So yeah, meh. Just meh for me. Meh. Another one that I have read, but again, it's YA. I've moved on from the YA bandwagon. The one I clearly attempted to tab things, which I do not do anymore. This is still incredibly popular. She's bringing out loads of books all the time. But One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. It's very popular. People love it. And I did enjoy this, to be fair. I just have no interest in continuing with the kind of different series. They're all kind of like detective mysteries, but YA ones. And I enjoyed it when I read it, but I didn't love it. The next is one that I feel like is a bit controversial, but then I haven't been paying much attention, to be fair. But I feel like a lot of people loved this one when it came out. I didn't, and I didn't get the next book in hardback, so I'm like, kind of like, I don't really want to get the next book anyway. That's Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. I think I did do a vlog on this, to be fair. Read it right at the beginning of 2020, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe it was the reading mood I was in. I read quite a few books that I thought I was going to love and didn't love. And then I read Brandon Sanderson and absolutely fell in love with him, so I think he got me out of that. or I just didn't like it, I just didn't get on with it. I think it's a beautiful cover, and I was kind of tempted to keep it just for the cover, but that's stupid. Someone else I think will love this and will maybe want it in the hardback, so I am going to give it up, but it just wasn't for me. I can't remember why. I think I just found it quite frustrating and just a little bit underwhelming, everything that happened in it. So yeah, giving that one up. The same goes for this next book as well. It's one that I feel like people do like. I felt very underwhelmed by it, and that is The Ninth House by Leah Bardugo. I love Leah Bardugo. Six of Crows is one of my favourite series of all time. It's incredible. I recommend it to everyone who comes in to the YA section and is like, I need a fantasy YA book, don't know where to start. Always Six of Crows is up there. But this just didn't have that element to it. The bit I love about Six of Crows is the found family, it's the banter between the characters, it's their relationships, it's the fun that they have on their journey. This didn't have that. It's much more serious. It's meant to be dark academia, so it's just not my thing. I didn't enjoy it. I don't want to continue on, so I am going to give it up. Now, this author is well loved by the masses. Everyone loves her. Maybe not everyone, because there will be people like me out there. I did not enjoy this book. Do not want to continue. I was kind of tempted to keep it and reread it and see if I liked it better on a reread, because that has happened recently with me in a book, but I'm just not fussed. There's now sirens outside. Why is everyone being so noisy? So that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Everyone loves Holly Black. Well, a lot of people do. I found very few people that didn't like her. I didn't like the characters, didn't really like the romance, which I think is the main draw for this story. The ending was actually so good though, because I think I finished it hating the whole rest of the book, but then the ending was so good that I was really, really desperate in that moment to then read the next book, but that feeling has long passed. So I'm going to give it up because I don't need it. I don't need it in my life. It's fine. It can go. So yeah. The next book I have is one that I actually think I kind of semi-did like, but again, it's YA. It was a little bit underwhelming. I think for YA, I was like, it's good for YA, but I'm really trashing YA today. But that is Girl, Serpent, Thorn by Melissa Barshadoost. I think I enjoyed it because it has a bi character in it, and like that element of it I really liked, because you don't get that a lot. But the rest of it actually was a little bit underdeveloped. Wasn't enough for me to keep wanting this on my shelf. And it's a beautiful edition. I'm going to put it on Depop actually, so if you want it, it should be there, unless it's gone already. But it just wasn't, it's not enough that when I look at it, it brings me joy. So I'm going to get rid of it. Goodbye. The next one I'm getting rid of, actually, I'm keeping the trilogy, although I was tempted to get rid of the whole trilogy, just because, again, I'm not going to reread it. But this one, I've got two of them. I've got the American edition and the UK edition. I've got the rest of the series in the UK edition. Even though I prefer this cover, I'm still going to get rid of it because I don't need to. And that is Finale, the last book in the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. She's brought out another few books, but I'm just not interested in reading any of her books anymore. Don't think I liked Caraval enough. I liked it enough to finish the trilogy, but I think that was just more because I felt like I needed to, not because I wanted to, which is stupid. You shouldn't have to do that. So yeah, I'm getting rid of this, and I probably will get rid of the trilogy at some point because I don't need it and don't really want it on my shelves. But I'm not ready to give it up yet. I do think the American edition is much prettier than the UK editions, but people might disagree because they've got those special undercover bits. I don't think this has like a special undercover bit. No, it doesn't. The next one I'm going to get rid of is one because I'm really sad because I was so excited for this book and I was severely disappointed by it. And that is The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. This was described to me as Les Miserables meets Six of Crows. Putting Six of Crows as a recommendation for a book is always a risky move on my part, because then I expect it to be as good as Six of Crows, and they rarely are. So this was already set up to fail, basically, and it did. I think people did enjoy it. It was pushed a lot, I think. I saw it everywhere on social media when it first came out, and then it kind of just petered off. Haven't really seen it since. No one's posting it as their favourites, anything like that. So I think that kind of tells you a little bit. Like, it wasn't there. It's another book that I think it's in the adult fantasy section, but perhaps doesn't need to be. It could be YA, and it would fit and suit that genre a lot better if it was there. Unfortunately, it's not. So you have different expectations for it and go in with a different thought of how it's going to be, and then it doesn't live up to those, so it's just a bit disappointing in the end. So yeah, I'm getting rid of this one. Now, the next couple books are actually all by Adam Silvera. I have read this one, and I read this one. I have not read this one, which is the most popular one, that's got really big on TikTok, I think now, because it is the one that we sell a lot of. But I haven't read it. I have no interest in reading them anymore, so I'm getting rid of them. The next is another series that I'm getting rid of, and I kind of am a bit sad because I did love these when I read them as a young youth, but I'm never going to reread them, I don't think. I was keeping them for maybe rereading my old time books, but then I can just, I don't know, borrow from the library, the first one. Like, I don't need the whole series taking up space on my shelf. But that is the Beautiful Creatures quartet. I really enjoyed these. I think they were like really fun, and they kind of got me back into reading like physical books again. I think that they will always kind of like have like a kind of place in my heart and my brain, but I don't need them in there. And the film was so disappointing as well. Like, I think I read them just as the film was coming out, or just before, a couple of months before maybe. But I remember powering through these and like reading them like one after the other, just like desperate to get through them. So yeah, I did enjoy them, and I would still recommend them as like YA books, but they're not something I need to keep on my shelves. The next two books are part of the series, and I read the first one in 2017 when I was on holiday, and I really enjoyed it. Bought the next one when I got back and never read it. So I think it's set in like Alexandria, the Great Library. Yeah, I can't tell you much more about it actually. I can't remember. It was 2017 when I read it. Can't remember much. Ink and Bone is the first one. Paper and Fire is the second one. Again, I think they're YA. I don't know. I don't remember much else about them. And I don't think we stock them in the store anymore, so I don't think they're probably that popular still. I just have no interest in reading them, so I will be donating them. I don't have much else to say. Now, this and another author, we've got another Holly Black situation with V.E. Schwab. People love V.E. Schwab. I have yet to love one of her books. I've given it a go. I've read A Darker Shade of Magic. I've read Vicious. And I've read something Lives of Addie LaRue, the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And I liked Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Hated the ending. Did not like that ending. Thought it was crap. I didn't mind A Darker Shade of Magic. It was just, again, very underwhelming. And this just, nah, not for me. Didn't enjoy it. I just didn't like it. And people love this. I just didn't. It just was not for me. Don't think me and V. Schwab get on as author and reader, and that's fine. You know, we don't all have to get on. It's fine. I'm just giving this up. Probably will give up the rest of the books, but they're all in my other accommodations, so I don't have them with me right now to unhaul. And then the last ones I have are a book that I bought because I loved her other series, Delirium. That was another one of the ones kind of like I remember from my teenhood as being incredible. So then I bought her other ones and I just didn't like them as much. They're dystopian. We've got Replica and Ringer. I think it's a duology, but you read them like back to back. No, back to middle. Front to middle and back to middle. So it's the same story, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. But then, so in the middle, you've got this half bit. This bit, you read this way. So like that. And then this bit, it's upside down at the minute. So you have to flip it and read it from the cover to the back, and it's up the right way around again. So like, it's really weird. It's like they were going for something new there. I have not seen it repeated anywhere, so I don't think it particularly worked. I think it might be the same like main journey story, but told from two different perspectives, and they kind of coincide. But it means you only get really half the book. Does it work? I don't think so. I didn't continue. Well, I bought the next one, but I didn't continue on with it. So I've only read the first one. For a dystopian, I don't think it was that great. So yeah, we'll be giving these up. They are no longer. So there we have it. My unhaul of 24 books to either be donated or put onto my Depop account. Not much else to say. I feel like I just slagged off a bunch of books and I hate doing that. I always feel guilty. But they're just not books that I need anymore in my life. And hopefully someone else will enjoy them a lot more than I did. Thank you again for watching. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you would like to see another video soon. And I will see you in that video.